and the coach that all kind of came together and said,
So here is one of the progenitors of this thuggish revolution in America, a far-left radical, Claire McCaskill, a sitting U.S. senator who congratulates mobs for humiliating a university president who was totally innocent. Then you have a Missouri professor, another, it's an oxymoron when you say professor of journalism now, when you look at who they hire, these types. Here is some Alyssa Glick thing, pledging even more of what she conducted on the campus in clip 9.
We, concerned faculty group, pledged to walk out both Monday and Tuesday.
Hold it. Walk out forever! Walk out forever, Glick! Go get a job in a deli in New York! Serve pickles and corned beef!
Students, which is, I think, the real priority right now, letting them know that, while their campsite is up, we are supporting them on their side, advocating for racial justice and social justice here on campus.
You're full of garbage, you lowlife. You, in my day, the most you ever could have been was a server in a delicatessen. You probably wouldn't have lasted in a deli for more than an hour with your attitude. That's a college professor today, planning a walkout Monday and Tuesday. Hey, Melissa, walk out forever. Do us all a favor. Walk out. Take a walk out. Take a flight to China. See if you can reinstitute the Cultural Revolution there. You loudmouth, you. Why don't you have anything to say about the killing of Christians in the Middle East with your sensitivities to hateful speech? Why don't you take a look at the real hate on the planet? The rape of young girls by your friends in Islam. I better stop. There's only so far I want to go. Only so far I want to go. Maybe I'm reaching a point of no return. Maybe words are not enough to stop this tidal wave of human trash that's sweeping over America. I'll stop right here. Back in a minute.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth. Call 800-BUYCO. Breaking news. Remember the Muslim attacker at UC Merced last week, which seems like years ago? Remember the 18-year-old Muslim who stabbed 4 people, till he was shot by cops and killed and sent to Allah land? Remember the police chief who shamefully said there's no terrorism related? Remember the shameful capon with a gun called the police chief said that they have no idea why he did this? Well, the Muslim attacker at UC Merced was found to have had images of an ISIS flag in his possession, and more. In fact, it's so related to terrorism that the local dummies in the police department have handed control of the criminal investigation to the FBI, according to Merced County, the Capon Sheriff Vern Warnke. The decision was made after, quote, new information emerged about Faisal Mohammed. Faisal Mohammed wouldn't elaborate when new information came up. The Capon said, I'm not at liberty to discuss the information, but the developments on Saturday caused us to turn that over to UC Merced, and the FBI will assist them. But a law enforcement official who spoke on the condition of anonymity said the information that they found included questions about the manner in which Mohammed was dressed during the attack. Oh, the types of websites he visited in the weeks and days before. Additionally, the official said investigators found a printout of an image of an Islamic State flag among Mohammed's belongings. The significance of the items and any possible connection to the attack is unclear and remains under investigation by the morons, the official said. They can't put 2 and 2 together until they consult their handbooks on what they're allowed to say. Have they lost the ability to use their brains? Or do they really know what this is about and they're afraid to say it for fear that the goon squads like at Missouri will come down on them? You see, the same elements that have taken over the campus have taken over police departments across America. The same elements that were forced down their throats with the threats of boycotts have now ruined the minds of police departments across America. You know what's going on. We all know what's going on. We're crippled. We have been paralyzed by this movement. Well, now you heard the rest of the story on the Savage Nation. Time for a quick call. And this is a good one. It's about Bachman. It's about the students that don't belong on the campus, the troublemakers that never should have been put on. I would say take sports away from colleges. If you want to have a university again that's devoted to learning and higher education, you need to get rid of certain departments, and one of them would be sports. Get rid of sports. Get rid of fake studies. We know what the fake studies are. They invented their own departments. They give themselves awards and prizes. They have their own. You're going to tell me that these departments of ethnic studies are equal to that of the Department of Astrophysics? You're telling me that you need a Department of Ethnic Studies for what? Tell me for what? What for? What does it do for the university campus to brainwash children who have such limited time to begin with? It's nothing but Mao Zedong's Red Guards indoctrinating students. That's all it is. It's all it ever has been. And I have faced diversity training. I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was one of the most uncomfortable days of my life. I was a local host on a local radio station, and the jerk who ran the station, who's no longer in the business, forced everybody to go to diversity training. And I had to listen to these sub-morons lecture about the wonders of other religions, putting down Christianity, putting down white people. This was 18 years ago. And they were talking very quietly. And they said, we've given the same training at the U.S. Military Academy in Annapolis. I jumped up and I said, well, guess what? You're going to hear something now that you haven't heard at the Military Academy or at Annapolis. I said, you're a disgrace to the human race. And I'm not sitting here through this garbage. And I don't care what happens to me. I'm not listening to your filth and your garbage. And you could take your candles and you know what you could do with them. And I walked out. Ask anyone who was there. I did it. And guess what? I wasn't fired. And the dummy who ran the station never had them back again. Because nobody ever wanted to go through that garbage. But today, diversity training is everywhere. Take a look at it wherever you turn. MSNBC is diversity training. The whole channel is diversity training. What, do you think it's unique to the university? You think these people are intelligent enough to have a real job? That's why they're on MSNBC. Fundamentally, they're just hired to espouse the programs that I've been telling you about. Okay, we're going to move on. These troublemakers eventually will hit a stone wall. When and how, I do not know. My suspicion is that we'll have an attack one day, God forbid, in this country, and everybody will have to rally around America, and we'll have a president who says, if you don't rally around America and you start putting out the garbage that we deserve, that you're going to be arrested. You start with your riots and saying we did it, and we disturbed them in the Middle East, and we're on their side, you'll be rounded up. That's what's going to happen in this country if you keep it up. There's only so much a country can take. And if you don't agree with me, I pity you, because you don't know what's coming. You have no idea that you're going to lose your very freedoms themselves. Back in a moment on the Savage Nation. Be here or be nowhere.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now. 855-400-SAVAGE. 855-400-7282. Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Ayatollah Obama did it again. Headline, U.S. to help Iran rebuild controversial nuclear reactor. They will provide advanced equipment. The very same terrorist state of Iran that said it will not develop a nuclear weapon is now being helped by Ayatollah Obama to rebuild the controversial nuclear reactor that was of concern to all of those who study the issue. There's your president. That's the real man behind the smile. That's the real goal of Ayatollah Obama. It's in the Free Beacon. This plant in Iraq was a key negotiating point during nuclear talks that produced an agreement aimed at helping the Islamic Republic develop a nuclear weapon under the guise of curbing the terrorist state of Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. This is the man behind the riots on the campuses. This is the man behind the rearming of Iran. This is the man who has started a Cold War with Russia. This is the man who is threatening China with controversial missile launches off the coast of California to so-called saber rattle. This is the nice, quiet man who liberals can't get enough of because he goes on Saturday Night Dead. That's hour number 3 of the Savage Nation. Now let's go to the callers. On WMAL in Washington, D.C., We is on the Savage Nation. Thank you, madam. Welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Your reference regarding Chinese Cultural Revolution, every word was true. I grew up there during that time. I witnessed so many sad stories, tragedies. And it's profoundly disturbing to see what's going on in this country.
So, look, I'm the only one in the media who dares say what's the obvious to educated people, that the Red Guards on the Mao Zedong who killed so many Chinese middle-class people are now being mimicked by Obama's thugs on campuses in Ferguson, in Baltimore, wherever you turn, it's the same type of thuggery. I call them the Red Guards of our time. You are a Chinese individual who lived through it. You are confirming that. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep, I was 8 years old, and I grew up during that time until I finished my high school. The Cultural Revolution was over. But at the early days, that 10 years, it was violent. The entire country was.
What I saw yesterday of the 10 demands by the black students shocked me to believe that they would publish such a thing that came right out of Mao's China when they said, we demand to the president, we demand you write an apology and you read it in public. I got chills up my spine because this is what was done by the Red Guards on the Mao Zedong. Isn't that correct?
That's correct, because they knew, Mao Zedong knew, he could use these young people, inexperienced, that had no idea, and that he used them. And there were so many literatures later on, after 30 years, the regrets, the pain, everything came after that.
Yes, and we're being dragged down into this same hell by the radical leftists who are running America right now. We are going down a wormhole from which we may never recover, because this man is a monster. Ayatollah Obama is behind all of this, as sure as I'm sitting here, and I can give you evidence right now. When you listen to that creature, Josh Ernst, lauding the thugs on the campuses for what they've done, where do you think he's getting his marching orders from, other than Chairman Obama?
Exactly. It all came out from White House because they understood that they can use those people. They can use them. This is very, very dangerous, very, very sad. And I don't understand how in the world. And I figured sometimes, I think maybe it only takes so much pain for the general Americans to understand, because life had been good after World War II. Americans did not suffer that much. And I figured maybe it only takes the suffering to understand the path they are hoping to go on.
No, I hear what you're saying. I know this is being orchestrated by communists. I understand that. They are infected. They have infested the entire country under Obama. They're like boll weevils who've gotten into a crop. They are everywhere in the Obama administration. They're in the media. They're in the government. They're in Hollywood. If you look at a person like this creature, I forget his name, running for the president, the old man, I don't know his name. He is espousing communism every day of his life. They have new words for it. Racism, income inequality, not tolerant of racial minorities. These are code words to corral and to browbeat the middle class into submission. But make no mistake about it, the end result will be the same. If we yield to them, if we give in to them, if we are afraid of them, the next step is going to be much worse. That's my opinion.
Yep.
Okay, I think we've covered that. It's very, very tragic to see the level of ignorance in the American media. I'm glad that I am a student of history sufficient to raise the topic again. and take this thuggery that we see in Missouri